Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Legacy Leaders. Today, I am joined with Kevin Gardner. He's at Telecom Marketing Strategies. Interesting guy, got a plenty of different angles, different ways to look at business from a communication or marketing side. And quite frankly, I think just an all around interesting dude because he just told me he came back from seeing Dave Matthews in concert in Detroit. So we're not going to talk about that in full detail, but I would like to have Kevin take the microphone and the camera, introduce himself, tell us a little bit about himself and why Telecom Marketing Strategies is so awesome as a company.
Oh, thanks, Scott. Thanks so much. Yeah, great time last night, and I guess my main introduction is one of Dave Matthews' most significant fans. But now, the Telecom Marketing Strategies is a business that it's evolved, and as we were just talking, we do business under different DBAs, but this is kind of our catch-all umbrella because we're in an industry in telecommunications that's evolving. And so we've needed to evolve with that to stay pertinent and have a meaningful business. And to do that, Telecom Marketing Strategies is a great umbrella name, but we've found that we needed to be more specific and use DBAs to continue to stay competitive in the telecommunications landscape. So
Okay.
it's evolved over time because out of necessity and out of opportunity, quite frankly. And not to get too far deep in the weeds here, but I think that's one of the reasons we're successful is that we've seized opportunities and been quick to respond to them.
Yeah, the one thing I think makes really good conversation point here is, you know, the telecommunications industry is changing so rapidly, and you're not lagging behind waiting for it. You seem to be evolving to give yourself the flexibility and the nimble active action to go after the opportunities when they present themselves. So, wow, isn't it the mother of invention? Necessity and opportunity creates the best invention. Well, sounds like you've got a pretty good business that follows the necessity, the opportunity, and then you're nimble enough to pivot and make that happen. So walk me through a little bit about what is so special about your ability to be nimble and what opportunities do you go after that make you unique and why people would want to do business with you.
Well, I think we're flexible, right? We don't believe it's our way and it's only our way. We like to be flexible. We like to fit into the needs of our clients and find solutions. We're very, very big on win-win solutions. Um, and as a result of that, our compensation structure is built that we're 95% commission. We only,
Oh,
it's like
wow.
that. It's like the fiduciary commercial on TV. I forget who the,
Yeah.
we only win when our clients win. We only get paid when our clients get paid. If we don't perform, we don't get paid. And I think that says a lot about the company. We've got faith in ourselves and we're in it as a business partner for our clients. Now, certainly that presents some challenges, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantees, but at the same time, I think it creates some opportunities because who wouldn't want to do business with a company that is only going to benefit if you, by hiring them, benefit?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting business model, right? Because today's society, there's a lot of entitlement, right? We
Yeah.
signed a contract and you're going to pay me for the next 6, 12 months. And regardless of performance, you're going to pay me because we signed an agreement. So how is it that you feel so comfortable signing an agreement that says, I don't get paid unless I perform? What's so special? I mean, I get it, you're flexible. I get it, you're nimble. What's the value proposition of what you guys do that makes you, as the guy at the head of the organization, so comfortable in saying, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to get paid because I know we'll perform.
Well, because we deliver and we do a lot of groundwork. We do a free assessment. So
Mhm.
there's really no risk for and during that assessment time, we can determine whether or not the client and us are a good fit. So it's kind of a no risk assessment. Let's see, is your portfolio one that we can manage and deliver on? If so, let us go. And when we get you paid, you pay us. And so we kind of vet the opportunities. So we're not wasting our time a lot. I mean, we're doing some assessments that don't turn out to be good business
Yeah.
decisions. But at the same time, I think that time that we're putting in is better than signing a contract and then putting time in later that's not going to benefit either of us. You
Well,
know,
yeah, and I
being
would say that's what that old adage, bad money after good or good money after bad. It's chasing a
it's
rabbit you can never catch, right?
it's not the money, it's the time
Yeah.
for me. You know, I have found more than ever, you know, there's that 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
God, is that true? I mean, I have spent, 80% of our time in cases chasing 20% of the money. And then we've just kind of gotten back and said, wait a minute, is this client? And we fired clients because, yes, are they giving us money? Yes, but is it taking more time than
Yeah.
is necessary? Is the return on our investment, not the return on their investment? It's got to be mutual, right?
Sure.
They have to get a return on investment. Absolutely, without question. That's why we're here. But we need the same. And when I left corporate America, one of my goals was to develop a company and work with clients that we like, trust, and respect. And
Okay.
part of that respect has to do with courtesy of time, right? They're asking us to do things that aren't reasonable just because they
Yeah.
feel they're the boss. That's not a good fit for us, and it's probably not
No.
going to be a good fit for them. I've had a client before get upset about something and say, I want you on a plane tomorrow and down here. And I just said, you know what? You have the information available to you. We have other clients and we have commitments to them. I'm more than happy to schedule a time that works for both of us to get together in person because a lot of what we do is virtual, but if you want it in person, and that way I can also line up other meetings with other clients and make it an effective use of my time, right?
Sure.
So in those situations, and they kind of actually came around and said, you know what? No, you're right. We do have the information we need. We can get it. We can wait. And so I, went, and there's still a client today, but we've got a better working understanding, right?
Well, okay. You drop some
For me,
transparency on them too, is what sounds like what happened, right?
yeah,
In
it's
full
a mute.
disclosure, it's not worth my time to come see you. I want to help you, but here's the better way to do it. And I can appreciate that. I would think most clients would appreciate if you're candid and you're upfront with them, they can actually manage their own process and manage their own situation. I want to ask, what is, from your perspective, Kevin, what is a good fit for you? How would you describe a, the customer that is a good fit?
Um, Honest and respectful,
Oh,
right? I want them to be honest about the opportunity. I want them to be, to have time and responsive, right? Because there's nothing worse than sending, hey, did you get that done? Hey, did you get that done? If it's not important, just say, this is not an important task for us right now, an important project. We'll come back to it later so that we don't have all these balls up in the air falling all around us, right?
true.
I'm fine with that. If it's not the right time, tell me. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I've got other clients who can benefit from my time while
Yeah.
we're working with them. So that's a big piece of it is just be honest with me, be responsive, and be respectful. Treat me and my employees, with respect.
Well, I think what's interesting is you said you want to work with clients that like, trust, and have respect of the courtesy of time. And then the perfect customer you've identified as somebody that has an honesty and respect for themselves, for you, the relationship, and they're responsive. That, okay. I think everybody would say that's a really good client to have. When it comes to the type of work that you do, why is that so important? Just so people have a framework of how this kind of customer interaction goes to the kind of service work that you do.
It kind of goes back to time, right? So um, I've got an allotment of time. And if I can use that time to help more clients and generate more revenue for more clients because I'm working with people that are efficient, that are respectful, that are
Mhm.
communicative, I'm helping them and I'm helping me. It's good. It's win-win. It's win for more clients because I can get to more clients that actually want to get work done.
Okay. Now, what is it that, explain to the audience what is it that you guys do? at Telecom Marketing Strategies, so people have an understanding of what it is.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Telecom Marketing Strategies is our official LLC, right? And we've got a website on that, and we do that piece of the business is really about consulting and things like that. But we don't do that much of it. When we started that company, we were doing more consulting, but then that kind of evolved and it wasn't as, everybody then started hanging up a shingle and saying they were a consultant as the cable industry or the telecommunications kind of downsized and squeezed more people
Yeah.
out. And, everybody was like, oh, I'm a consultant too. I'm a consultant too. So we had to deviate from that. One of the things I knew from working on the other side of the table was that the cable companies, one of the biggest challenges was they were looking for third-party vendors, and it was time consuming for them to go
Mm.
out and vet those companies. So what we did is we established this co-op of quality third-party, fully vetted companies that we could then look for opportunities for them. And so we were doing a service for the Comcast, the Spectrums, the AT&Ts of the world, but we were also doing a service for the people, the third parties getting those jobs, right?
Yeah.
We were taking things off the to-do list of the people that work for AT&T, Comcast, and we were generating more revenue. So in that case, even though we were benefiting both parties, the party getting the work was the party paying us. So
Okay.
they were benefiting, but we were easily opening the door because they're like, oh, this guy knows what we're looking for, and he's going to do my job for me, and I don't have to pay for
Yeah.
it. Right? And the people getting the work are like, great, I get an access, I get in that I didn't previously have. Now, as the industry evolved and there was fewer transactions because technology evolved and you didn't have to roll a truck to every single home to do every single transaction. You didn't have to do direct sales and things like that because of social media and digital marketing. And there was fewer and fewer opportunities for those third parties. As that shrank, we started doing consulting for those companies. And what a lot of people don't realize is if you own an apartment building, for a provider of services to be on your property, they need your permission to be on your property, even if you're not their
Okay.
customer. And so there was this big need because it was a very competitive marketplace. The companies like Comcast and Spectrum and Cox Communications, they wanted us to get contracts for exclusive marketing at these apartment complexes to try and help them with marketing because they didn't have enough people to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And through that, we did that under Telecom Marketing Strategies. Through that, we did that for several years and we kind of worked our way out of a job because we got enough of the contracts done that they were like, okay, now we have enough in-house people, employees, we don't really need your services anymore, right? So we're sitting there at the table and like, okay,
Yeah.
we switched to the other side of the table. And that was the evolution of multifamily utility solutions, which is a DBA of Telecom Marketing Strategies because we needed to make it so that it was understood that we worked for the multifamily property, right? The owner of the apartment, the owner of the mobile home community. And so we evolved there. And once we evolved there, we started representing the apartment building owners in that same transaction and generating revenue for them more than they maybe would have got themselves, but also just educating them and letting them know, hey, you're entitled to some money here. You
Yeah.
should probably consider it. And then after we did what we specialize in, which is broadband agreements, our clients were very satisfied and they were like, well, what can you do with other utilities? And so because of that, we've set up a structure and affiliated companies that deal with the other utilities, trash, electric, solar, cellular tower leases, and things like that. And so it's all evolved, water conservation. So now multifamily utility solutions came from initial consulting
Oh, crazy.
to representing apartment building owners and helping them increase their net operating income through opportunities in their utilities line items.
Okay. So if I'm understanding this right, this is one hell of a evolution, and being nimble enough to go from one side of the table to the other when you're negotiating for different services like you've identified, start off with telecommunications, cable, whatnot. But now that you've seen both sides of the table, I can't imagine anybody being better than what you do than you, because you've seen both sides, right? I'm assuming that's got to be one hell of a value proposition that you guys can enter into the market with.
Yeah, we mention that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Learn, we've been on the other side of the table. We know what's there. I mean, are we the best? I like to think we're very good at what we do, and our clients are very satisfied.
Well,
Um, so yeah,
with
but
that,
I don't really look at my competition. I look at who are the potential clients out there that would be a good fit. And we actually try and target specific markets where we know we do well and size of apartments.
okay.
And so, because we know where our wheelhouse is, if you have too many apartments, if you're one of these REITs, the real estate investment trusts, and you have tens and tens of thousands of units, you probably don't need us, to be perfectly honest with you, because you probably have somebody on staff whose full-time job it is to do this because of the volume you have, right?
Okay.
And
That makes sense.
if you're too small, it's probably not worth either of us. Although I love talking to those small guys because those small guys are going to be big guys later.
Hmm.
And I've got stories of people we've talked to, and then 5 years later, they're a really good client of ours,
Yeah.
because they became aware of the opportunity, and when they sized to the point where they could be a good client, they raised their hand and said, "Hey, remember us?" And
Yeah.
we obviously said, "Yeah." So, we're always, and that's one of the other things is, and I think this is one of the things I learned early in business when we were doing the telecommunic or the cable warehouse stuff, which is where we was our other DBA where we lined up third party vendors. We had some really good contracts. We got soft. We could quit prospecting. And
Oh,
so that was a lesson learned. And now that's why we spend the time with those people who aren't clients today, but will be in 2 to 3 years. Um,
well,
that
I look at that, Kevin, as how else are you going to get people to know, like, and respect you if you're not known to them and don't show them respect and give them something to feed off of? So it's an excellent idea. Obviously, talking to somebody who's one or two rental properties, but eventually, if they're going to be good at what they're doing on the rental properties, they're going to want more, and they're going to want to figure out what this is all about. And I go back to the other comment that you made is if you're not good at what you do, you're not going to get paid. If you don't get, or you're not going to perform for somebody. If you don't perform, they don't pay you. So your incentive is to be good at what you do, and your performance is directly reflective in your own compensation. So your organization is built on know, like, and respecting each other because of performance. That's a really good business model. I think a lot of people would likely be afraid of that because there's no guarantees in it. But it's almost as if, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's almost as if you went all in on the idea of I'm good enough to do this, and when I perform, I just want to get paid for it.
well, to use a sports analogy, right? I grew up and I played golf a lot. I don't play golf anymore, but I did, right? And if you think about the pro golfer gets paid for their performance,
Hmm.
right? You're in a tournament, how you perform is direct correlation to your payment. If you take other sports, sometimes they're getting paid for their past performance, and you see it all the time. They sign these big contracts, right? And then all of a sudden their performance goes down, and so they're getting paid for their past performance, not their current. We
Yeah,
are always getting paid for our current performance.
I like that. I like that. So as we go through these different businesses, DBAs, and how you've kind of set this up, what are some of the lessons that you think would be really important for somebody to pay attention to as a business owner?
Well, the first one was don't, that I shared with you earlier, don't get soft, right? And think you
Yeah.
got it licked and all that. Never stop doing what got you there, right? you know, it, it, I'll be honest. I mean, I know we've talked about this before, right? I'm in AA, and one of the things that I've been told in Alcoholics Anonymous is that as long as you don't let the good things that come about by recovering from your alcoholism get in the way of doing your recovery and committing to AA, good things will keep happening, but you can't let
Yeah.
those benefits get in the way of what got you there. And I attribute that exactly the same as if I'm generating leads, like I've got a to-do list. I've got the same 5 things on my to-do list every single day, 7 days a week, right? And one of them is new leads.
Okay.
New leads is one. Update my financials, uh, exercise, read, and meditate, right? Those are the 5 things I do every single day.
Love it.
But I can't do my business if I don't make sure I've got more business coming in.
Yeah.
So
And
I've got it.
well,
And it was the lesson I learned, and I put it on my to-do list, and I do it religiously now.
I love that. Don't get soft, don't stop, and definitely don't stop doing the things that got you where you are. That's huge. That's a really good piece.
The
When
other
it
one,
comes, go ahead.
another one, and I think we touched on it already, is things take longer than expected.
Yeah.
You know, and when I had those really good and we were doing very well, you can lose those contracts like that, right?
Mhm.
Replacing those contracts takes time.
Yeah.
So that's why as we developed these DBAs and we shifted, we still had revenue coming in from the other DBAs, but we had enough to support ourselves after that first mess up. We developed the other ones as we still had revenue coming in from. So as the revenue was going down for one, the other was coming up, and we kind of had little dips, not the big dips.
Yeah. You protected yourself, which is another one, right?
Yeah.
Another lesson is protect yourself at all times. And not to throw in another sports analogy, but
Yep.
protect yourself at all times because you don't want to see yourself go through that ebb and flow and not have something to take care of the hill or the valley, depending on how you look at it, in your
Yep.
revenue streams, right?
Right.
So it's not easy to be a business owner, right? I think what I love about this podcast and this series that I do, it gives people a chance to realize I'm not in this alone. And man, I swear to God, there's so many people going through the same problems that everybody else wants to talk about, but nobody wants to talk about them, right?
Yeah.
It's 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 unbelievably rewarding to be an entrepreneur and do the things that a small business owner can do. But it's also very challenging, and there's a lot of things in between that either get you in the right state of mind to do the things you want
Hmm.
to do, or get in the way from you getting to do the things you want to do. I believe your mindset is something that set you up for success or put you in a position to fail. And I hate to see people be in a position to fail when all they have in front of them is opportunity. They just don't recognize it. So what I'm trying to do is eliminate those barriers or break down those barricades that people have to their own success. And it's basically don't overthink it, right? That's probably a really good lesson.
Yep.
And you know what? It's not as hard as you're making it out to be. So don't think so hard about how hard it is. Think about what you can do to get away from the hard stuff and get to the good stuff. I
Well,
know it
and
sounds simple, but
yeah, well, Scott, you touched on it, right? You said we're not in this alone. And I think so many, if you're an early entrepreneur, I know I did, I thought I had to be in it alone. I couldn't
mhm,
afford to bring others in and all that. And so I was trying to do every single thing. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not good at every single thing.
yeah.
And I don't want to take the time to be good in every single thing. I want to do what I like. I like doing deals. I like promoting my company. Um,
Mhm.
you know, I've got somebody who's good at social media. He does the social media for me and does our posts and stuff like that, right? I tried initially to do my very first website. Not anymore. I've got 3 different websites and I've got a website developer who's doing that. I make more money in the hours I free up than what I pay them to do what they do best,
Yep.
right? It'd be like me going to YouTube and trying to, oh, I've got a sore tooth. Instead of going to the dentist, I'm going to try and fix it myself, right? You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't make sense. And I've got somebody who is detail oriented that loves the operations. I hate that crap.
Yeah. Well, isn't that part of being a solid business owner is understanding who you surround yourself with is going to influence how things get going. We have
Yeah.
the old adage of, because people ask all the time, how do I know what I should delegate? And my answer is very straightforward. If you're good at it, you like doing it, and it makes you money, do not delegate that. Everything else delegate.
Yep.
The challenge is everybody thinks, okay, they have to be exclusive. It has to make money. I have to be good at it. I have to like it.
No.
No, no. You can be good at something and not like to do it, right? And you can
Right.
be,
Right.
you can like doing something and you're not very good at it. Neither one of
Right.
them have to make you money. But if you find those things that you like to do, that you're good at, and they make you money, stay doing those things.
Yep.
Everything else delegate to somebody else. And you should find a way to automate, not necessarily bringing robots in. I'm talking about automate. Automate 80% of the processes in your business and let 20% be human interaction, meaning somebody has the ability to be a human and think on their feet. If you can systemize and process manage your business along that mentality, you'll
Hmm.
be unbelievably successful.
Yep.
You know how hard it is to get people to think outside of that original box. It's not an easy thing to do because, as you said before, everybody wants to do everything because they think they need it.
Yeah.
But if you're open to the help and you can find the experts that do the things that you do not like to do or the things you're not good at,
Hmm.
you're going to make money. You made it perfectly clear when you said you make more money in the time you have somebody else doing the things you don't like to do because you're good at, you like doing the things that make you money.
Right.
Go ahead and do that. Focus on that. That's where it becomes very powerful, not only for one single business owner, but think about your business ownership structure and like who's on your leadership team. If you start getting them to think that way, how much more powerful can they be as a contributor to the business, both upstream and downstream from their role? Now you're thinking about a completely different organization that's clicking better, more efficiently, and faster than it ever did. That to me is where businesses need to be. And that's why I love working with them to get them thinking differently about how their business runs. Like I'm all about performance. How does your business perform every day? And if you're not tracking it, not looking at it, it's kind of hard to realize how good you're doing in one shape or another. How good are you?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Couple things because I love we tapped into a number of different things. So I love the lessons learned. I love the challenges that you kind of outlaid. I'm interested to know, as a guy who's been doing this for as long as you've been doing it, what's the greatest achievement that you've had since you've been doing this?
For business, I think it's just the constant learning, and I enjoy learning. I enjoy what I do now. I enjoy the. I've created a company that I'm working with people internally that I like, trust, and respect.
Yeah,
Right, and that's come true, and it's freed me up. I've got a very flexible schedule. Like I said, I just walked in the door an hour ago from driving back from Detroit to because I was able to see Dave Matthews, right?
yeah,
I didn't have to clear that with anybody. I told my operations person I'm going to be out, keep an eye on email. She's like, awesome. Because last week she was at her lake cottage in northern Michigan, and I was keeping an eye on the shop then. It's just we have this great camaraderie, and I really do get to work with people I like, I trust, I respect. I have a very flexible schedule. It allows me, I mentioned I'm in AA, it allows me to help other guys that need help with rides or meetings or working through the
yeah,
steps. It's allowed me the freedom to write. I've written 2 books on mindset and things like that. And those were never any things I thought I could do and at one point. So I live a very fulfilling life, and business
love
is
it.
part of it, but it's not the only part of it.
Well, that's a very important point I want people to pay attention to. Um, One of the things that we talk about a lot is how can business that you own give you the life that you want or the life that you deserve? We spend so much time, let's just say you work in corporate America for 30 some odd years and you dedicate your entire life to that business and you're working and you get your 3 to 4 weeks of vacation every year. okay, what kind of life did you have based on doing the business that you did for somebody else?
Yep.
If you were to step out and be an entrepreneur, run your own small business that ultimately becomes a mid to major size business, what did that business do to give you the lifestyle that you've always wanted? Did you dedicate your life to it? And now you're working 80 hours a week and you're on everybody's beck and call because that's the business that you built? Or did you build a business like Kevin Gardner that says, I have the freedom to do what I want to do because I trust my people. I love them to do the jobs that they do, and they allow me the lifestyle I've always wanted. Would you, I mean, wouldn't you rather pick to be Kevin Gardner than the guy who's working 80
Let
hours a week, slaving
me
away in his job?
Yeah, let me tell you, when I left corporate America, I was making a lot more money. Well, it's net, you know, net value of,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell, but I was making very, very good, but they owned me. They absolutely owned me. And in one of my books, I write about this, how I was on vacation in Mexico. In theory, I was on vacation, right? It's a Friday. I'm back in the office on Monday, and I get this message at the front desk, and this was before really good cell phone reception. And an hour later, I'm pumping pesos into a payphone to try
Oh,
and connect to my office, who couldn't wait till Monday when it was already Friday afternoon, asking me what we could do to increase sales over the weekend, right? I mean, at that point,
yeah.
they owned me, right? And that was it. And that's nothing. I tell my folks all the time. I mean, look, we absolutely want to provide the best possible service, but I also don't want you checking email. My operations person, her son lives out of town. He and his pregnant wife were in visiting over the 4th of July. I said, I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Anything comes in, I got it. I didn't have anything planned. I don't want you spend time with the family because we got to have that balance. The friend of mine that I went to the concert with last night, right? He's 39 years with the same company. He was just telling me about how, he's only a few years away from retirement. He almost has to stick it out. But he told me he worked in the office 44 hours or 44 days in a row. And he's just like, I am fried.
Yeah. Do you imagine? I mean, don't get me wrong. The hours that we put in as entrepreneurs, small business owners, are large. We put in a lot of hours, but it's hours that we decide to do with it how we want to use those hours. It's a different mindset.
It is.
And
And that's
I appreciate that. Right.
It's we decide, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And I try and create that throughout my organization, right? We do like, hey, I got an appointment. I don't even need to hear, you got an appointment. Just do it.
Yeah.
Get to your
Well,
work.
here's the thing, Kevin. I think what really makes that work, and the words you've used before, know, like, and respect. If you have the respect of the owner of the business and the business owner respects you as an employee, why would you ever lie to them and say, I'm going to leave early so I can go play golf?
Right.
Just tell them what you want to do and maybe it'll work out. Because you perform, it's easy to allow people to do those things for a work-life balance. It's when they don't perform that it becomes problematic.
Yeah.
And your business is very hell bent on performance, so it's easier to kind of fall in line with the performance mindset. But think about some of the businesses out there that don't have that mindset.
Yeah.
So it's almost from the top down, you've got to get a better mindset towards how are we as a business going to perform every day so we then can enjoy the rewards and benefits of performance. Right?
Right.
That's what we need to instill in every business owner. So this has been a great conversation. I cannot believe it. We are practically done with time. It's been well over 30 minutes. Last question. I'm gonna give you a chance to tell me who of all people you would like to have dinner with.
Do I get how many do I get? Well, Dave Matthews, of course. I mean, I love his music. I'd love to hear some of the stories. He's traveled the world. I love his mindset and how he
Yeah.
communicates. He went on a monologue last night about how, very similar to the Martin Luther King quote about how, you know, dark darkness can't force out darkness, only light can force out darkness, and hate can't force out
Yeah.
hate, only love can force out hate. And Dave kind of went on a diatribe about something like that last night. And so I love that mindset because I believe that. I fully believe that, good ultimately will overcome bad, and we got to keep doing our best for others, and look
Yeah.
out for each other. And so I think I share his mindset on that.
Yeah.
And if
I
we're
like
gonna have
that.
somebody else at dinner, I'd say maybe my sponsor, because he's got my AA sponsor who's got the same kind of mindset, and maybe throw the Dalai Lama in there too, because I'd like
Oh,
to see
yeah.
that dynamic, and I just think we'd kind of like vibe off each other, and have a really
That sounds like
good.
a great dinner party,
Yeah,
honestly. Right?
yeah,
There's so much to be said, and I'll finish this up. My mom always taught me you get more flies to show up with honey than you do vinegar. So just have the mindset of be nice. Just
yeah,
be nice.
yeah.
Kevin, I want to thank you for being on the program. It was great.
Thank you,
I'll-
Scott.
yeah, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see everybody on the next episode of Legacy Leaders.